that you need about the whole process. I provided for you some materials, so you'll have that information in front of you. So we have our transfer guide, and also we have our native guide in front of you. The white card that you have, that allows me to make sure I follow with you. I want to make sure we can make this process, if you're thinking about coming to the university or transferring over, I want to make it as seamless as possible. So I want to get you in the right hands, but also let you inform you of all the opportunities that we have for our scholarships and also the support that you'll have once you're on campus. As you know, some of the individuals in this room that brought you here and are providing this opportunity for you are also here at the university, truly making a difference, and not only native students, but also students across the campus. So we're super excited to have you here. In my position, I actually just got promoted to associate director, so my whole job is now to come up with strategies and initiatives and make sure when you get here, or the whole process is as easy as possible. So walking you throughout the application, all the way until helping you qualify for the scholarship that we have for you, especially as native students. One of those scholarships that I'll literally show you in a couple seconds here is our Native American Scholarship. What that does for you as a transfer student is that helps you pay for up to 135 credit hours to finish your degree. So you can either finish your degree or finish out 135 credit hours, whichever one comes first. So that's an opportunity that we haven't had a native student actually apply for or even utilize since.
Can I apply again?
I mean, if you want to. If you want to, absolutely. We need more. So
I might be a pain in the butt.
Yeah, so I'm glad you asked. Also, before we get started, I'm going to address your question. This is an open forum. Yes, I'm providing you information about the university, but if you have any questions about the process, things that you're just thinking about, let's go ahead and throw those out so we can address those as we go along, because I want to be as informative as possible throughout this whole process. So yes, you mentioned, what are the requirements for that, right? Is that correct? So there's two spaces that you can find this information. So if you go to our admissions website, you go to apply, admissions.unl.edu, you go to scholarships. The wonderful thing about all of our opportunities at the university is we allow you the opportunity to pretty much, you're feeling this, so let me go up. I'm sorry. So once you get to this page, we have a filter by first year transfer, in-state, out-of-state, leadership, university. Since you will be a transfer student, this is the best way to do it. The opportunity that I'm talking to you about will be your transfer, tribal, tuition, college scholarship. There are deadlines for this, so keep those in mind. If you're applying for the fall, so this upcoming fall, you have to apply to the university by apply to the university by March 1st. If you're trying to come for the spring, October 1st. All this information, the reason why I'm doing this is online, so that way I can show you how to get to it, where it's at. But then if you're talking about how do you even apply for it, you just click on it. It takes you over here to the actual award amount. So what we're looking at, this is full in-state tuition for 135 credit hours, as I just mentioned. So you can either complete your degree first or complete 135 credit hours through the university. So it's essentially completion of your bachelor's degree based off of what you're bringing in as far as your associates that you may have completed, or completing 135 credit hours, whatever one's taking place first. What you need to actually apply is apply to University of Nebraska-Lincoln. You're coming for this upcoming fall, so fall 2020, you need to apply by March 1st. Technically, if you would have liked to have started this upcoming spring, so in December here, or technically January, we would have applied to the faculty scholarship and applied to the university by October 1st. That's okay. If you haven't done that, fall 2020 is still available, and I want to make sure you guys are knowledgeable about this because we haven't had a student actually transfer from NICC or any community colleges where we're serving the native population to even receive the scholarship, which is huge for me because I want to promote this as much as possible because we just recruited the most diverse class in school history. We had a goal of recruiting literally 1,000 students this upcoming year. We hit 911, so 911 students. It's the most diverse class in school history. The goal, or actually the number the last year before that, was 780. Since I took on this position, I'm more strategic about what we're doing, so which is why I want to make sure I can utilize this white card that you guys have in front of you to make sure I follow with you. When I say I want to get you here, I want to get you here. So if I have to literally get on the phone with you at 10 o'clock at night to walk you through the application process and help you fill out the scholarship, that's what I want to do.
He's scary, so you better.
But no, when I say that, I mean that. I work with Winnbago Academy. Their academy, they have their first cohort of students now on the campus. So I'm working with them on a regular basis to make sure they're getting connected, make sure they have opportunities. And all of them are part of Unite now, which is a fantastic opportunity Moy Padilla, who you actually hear from if you haven't already heard from today. He's actually their advisor. So it's a great opportunity to not only get connected, but also stay connected and actually truly make an impact on this campus. So this is why this white card is important to me. So when I call you, don't ignore my calls. I'm screwed. What's your name?
Cassie.
Cassie, don't ignore my calls. I'm sorry. No, I'm serious. Not put me on this. Yeah, I'm not, you don't block me. I'm serious. So I want to make sure I can follow up with you. So this is one of the many opportunities that you have, and this is literally targeted towards you. Renewal criteria for this is 2.5 GPA. That's okay. So the reason why I said 2.5 is we want to make sure that first semester when you transfer over and you maintain at least a bar of 2.5, that's a C plus average technically. So you can do that. I know you can do it because you've already doing amazing things now. We want to continue that process and make sure you continue to be successful here. So that's the renewal criteria. Any questions about the scholarship so far? Okay. Let's talk about the transfer piece of this. So we talked about the scholarship, this one scholarship real quick, and I'll come back to all these other ones. I want to talk about the process of transfer. So let's make this interactive. What do you think our transfer, what do you need as far as a GPA, as far as a cumulative, and also last term semester to transfer to the University of Nebraska-Lincoln? Cumulative GPA to transfer to the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, and then also your last term semester. What do you think your GPA needs to be to transfer to the university? 2.5. 3.0. 2.8. There's no wrong answers to this. I mean, it's just one right answer. Technically, any of the ones that you listed, yes, those are technically true. We want you to come in above. But technically, we're looking at a 2.0 GPA from your last term, and then also your cumulative GPA being a 2.0. That's what we're looking at. So when you transfer from the university, if you don't believe me, I can literally show you. So we'll talk about those walkthroughs. We'll start with transfer. Actually, no, we'll start. As I mentioned before, I'm not making all this stuff up. It's on the actual website. So 2.0, C average, and then the cumulative, maybe your most recent term of that. The core requirements of what you need to complete technically is 12 credit hours from the university. So you need to complete at least 12 credit hours to transfer to the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. So that makes sure of this. We look at your high school transcript just to make sure you took some of these. This is not really a determining factor of you getting admitted. It's more of your ACT, well not ACT, your GPA, and then your core classes that you take. So we look at that transcript when you actually, what class that you've taken at your actual community college, to then evaluate you on how you're going to be transferred. We'll request your transcripts. So when you apply, we'll literally ask for an unofficial copy. The unofficial copy lets us know that you've taken these classes at the community college, and this is what you're currently sitting at. Once you apply, you're admitted, and you end up coming to the university, then that's when you'll send your official transcripts to us at our actual admissions website, or you can send them to our admissions website, or if you can just mail them in to us. Whatever one you decide to do, you can do that. Our actual address is 1410 Q Street. That's here in Lincoln, Nebraska, 68588. So that information is there for you. Everybody clear on the transcript piece? Yes.
You better, I think you should clarify which is an unofficial and what is an actual transcript.
Yeah. So unofficial transcript is something that you can download, send to us, upload it. We accept that. So that's not an official document stamped with the actual official seal. The official document, when you send it to us, once you're admitted, literally is stamped in the envelope that you cannot open. And if you open it, you have to go back and request it again. So your official one is, once you apply to the university, you're accepted, you pay your enrollment deposit, come in here, we'll get that official one. It's in a stamped envelope from the actual institution, so NICC or wherever you're currently at. Do not open that, it gets sent to you, send it to us. The unofficial one, you can send in a PDF form, you can send in a Word document, however you want to send it. That is not saying that these are my official scores, because you may have some classes in progress, and we will get the official one once you complete all your courses at the institution. Does that make sense? Does that clarify a little bit? What else did you
The official one is going, like you said, it's going to have, not even on the envelope, it's going to have a stamp on it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to have official signature.
Yep.
And then it should be sealed as well.
Yep.
You know, just add, if you're a little confused, go to your main office, right, and say, I need an official transcript. And they'll go, oh yeah, we know what to do for you. And they'll create the right one for you with the sealed envelope and everything. That's all you need to do.
Thought I alluded to that, but I correct me. I'm sorry. Thank you for correcting me.
That's okay.
Okay, transcripts. Deadlines, as I mentioned before. If you're applying for the fall, technically the deadline to actually get into the university and submit all your official documents is May 1st. And then if you're applying for the spring, December 1st. But the scholarship that I mentioned to you is March and December. So keep that in mind. Okay? Application fee technically is $45, but there may be some ways we can get around this. So we get special circumstances in some different cases. So we can work with you on this piece here. But in most cases, it's $45. Scholarship statement technically does not apply because this is for, in most cases, the traditional freshman coming in. There's a different application that you'll apply for the native scholarship. And you'll find that information on your MyRed account. Okay?
With the native chapter scholarship, is there an essay?
There is. Yeah. So there's an essay that you'll find on your MyRed account. You'll submit that through your MyRed account. It's a 500-word essay telling us about your experience, and then from there we're able to go ahead and award you based off of that. So, it's a great question. Any questions so far? Yeah. International students, I don't think anybody's an international student. Are we? No? Okay. I just want to make sure you are? Okay. So this is a different process for you, which I know is the case. As I mentioned, core requirements, we look at this stuff just to make sure you take it into high school. If you did not, that's not a big determining factor for us because we look at the courses that you're taking at your community college, then evaluate you if you're going to get in along with that GPA requirement. Okay. Transferring actual credits, this is where I want to go to next. So we have a couple different ways that you do this. So if you're going to be transferring credits, you can use this credit equivalency piece here. If not, the easiest way to do this to actually see it is if you scroll down. Course equivalency list, and then type it in MATC if that's what you Okay, you see what I'm talking about? 2 different things. Nebraska. What this does is it shows you what your courses are coming in as here, under what pieces, so transfer to University of General credit hours. But if you want to see the actual list of the classes that you're taking and what they'll transfer over to the institution, this is a good way to see where you stand based off of some of the courses that you've already taken and where they'll come and what they'll come in at the university. So this is a good list to always reference if you're going to be taking some of these courses and wondering what they're going to be transferring in as. So this is a great list to kind of reference going throughout the process. Yes, sir.
So how much of this would actually cover your core classes that you have to take so you can actually focus on your major, you know?
The great majority of the ones that you transfer from MATC cover your core classes so you can actually focus on your actual major. So, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the easiest way to put it. Like,
yeah.
So the majority of the classes that you'll bring in, you'll cover your majority of your core classes, and then you actually literally get the time to spend on your actual major. Those core classes are great, but if you've already completed those, it literally allows you to focus in on your actual major and your actual degree and complete that as soon as you possibly can.
That means you can get 2 majors.
Nobody's excited about that. This is a great opportunity. As I mentioned, the scholarship opens up a lot of doors, but if you transfer here with the majority of your core classes already out the way, that opens up a lot more doors for you to continue on and do some additional things while you're at the institution before you graduate.
So if you graduate from, like, say, I graduate from MATC in the spring, and then transfer here, would I be considered a freshman still, or would I be a junior?
Based off how many credits you come in with, you may be coming in as a junior. In most cases, if you graduate with an associate, you will come in as a junior. Yeah. So, yeah, you won't come in as a freshman. I'm sorry if that's what you wanted. But you'll typically start out as a junior. If not, you can technically dip in a senior, just depending on how many credit hours you can do. So, yeah. Great question. Yes, sir.
You might have already said this, but is there a difference between if you complete the degree and transfer versus if you're in the middle of the degree and transfer?
Yeah,
For us, from the institutional side, it honestly varies. And the reason why I say that is because some individuals want to have their associates and then transfer or complete it versus if they just are going to transfer with those credit hours. It depends. There's no differentiation or like determining factor like one is worse than the other. That's not up for us to decide. We just want to make sure when you transfer over everything, you transfer over as you see fit on the actual transcript, so that way you're not wasting time by transferring to us. So
I know Wayne does. They transfer more if you complete it versus if they start picking it apart before you.
yeah, for us, it's a little bit different. We just want to make sure whatever you're bringing in, we're going to evaluate you based off of some of the criteria here. And if you have your associates, that's great for us because that allows us on our side to make sure we're more intentional with as far as your majors and stuff like that. And you just not trying to plug and play all these different things because in most cases, if you graduate with an associate, you have like a specialty or something like that that you've already focused on. So
Perfect.
yeah, great question. Great question. I feel like I put people to sleep, so we're gonna continue on. Okay. What information? Let's do this just to make this the best process and most informative as possible. What information do you want to know about the transfer process that you don't already have answers to? That's a difficult question, I guess.
I kind of learned that on my own
Yeah.
because I wanted to transfer to high school and trying to fill out the application. I was trying to take a shortcut,
Absolutely.
but then they said I had to finish the tribal college first in order to transfer.
Gotcha. Is that from the university or is that for somebody else?
High school?
High school?
Yeah. University?
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, I can't transfer my what do you call it?
Your credits and stuff?
Yeah, unless
You finished it?
yeah.
Gotcha.
And then they said I would get in trouble if I did it, so I decided to try to
Finish that up first and then come over here. Yeah, I don't know their rules and regulations. So on that piece, I don't want you to get in trouble. So if they are saying that you have to finish before you.
No, I mean, I'm not saying that.
Oh, okay.
I try to take a shortcut.
Oh, I got you. I got you. Yeah. Okay. All that. Okay. So I'll just provide you with information based off of kind of what I know about the process, and then if there's something that pops up, please let me know. Transferring credits, as I said, this is literally the list from the MATC that transfers over to the university, what they come over as. But I'll go back to the scholarship. Transfer scholarship. So these are all opportunities that we have. So you can either transfer with the transfer tribal tuition college scholarship. We have the Nebraska transfer regents, which is if you come in with a 3.5 GPA from your actual core classes there. Transfer George Beadle, that's for more of our out-of-state students. Midwest Exchange, and then the Transfer Nebraska Legacy. So if anybody in your family, this is for our out-of-state students too, have gone to the university. Ruth Leverston, out-of-state. Aaron Douglas, tuition scholarship, that's out-of-state. But if you turn to page, this don't have page numbers. But if you turn to step 3, your native guide, the white one I gave you, this lists out all the scholarships that we have for native students at the university. And this may not be the complete list, to be honest with you. As I mentioned, the tribal one, we have the American Heritage, Emerging Leaders, those are all for traditional freshman students coming in. But then we have the Nebraska Achievement Community College Scholarship. It's renewable for up to 2 years, which is great. And that's having 3.0 GPA or higher going throughout the process. The ones that I like to mention, I know it's probably mentioned already, is the Tonka Tribe one, Standing Bear, and then the American Indian College one. Those are all great resources for you to look into, especially because they're giving out additional resources and providing you with resources here through those different funding opportunities to make sure they can make this process as affordable as possible for you. The tuition one that we offer, especially if you're a native student transferring in, that one covers the great majority of everything that you need at the university, but that does not like cover any of your housing expenses or stuff like that. So keep that in mind. Any questions about the scholarships that we offer? Literally on our website and in our actual document. And I know there's some additional ones that we don't have here, which we need to get fixed too. So.
What is the scholarship that if you graduate from low grades, then you can receive? So what was
The one I mentioned, the first one. So this is
that's just the travel college scholarship.
yeah. Same as that one. We cover up to 135 credit hours. It may show up something different on your financial aid package, but the same as that scholarship. Does that answer your question? Okay. Any other questions about this piece? Okay. For the sake of time, I'll make sure we cover everything. So we have about 26 more minutes. I just want to stay on time. The next piece, Jared Ramsey was supposed to come in and cover with you guys. What I'll be covering is pretty much money management, housing at the university, especially if you have a family, and then we'll also touch on like a daycare center. We have all those resources here, but they do have some different entities that we'll talk about and different things that we'll talk about here of this process. So we do have family housing at the university, so if you do come in with the actual family, one of the determining factors one here is if you're coming in with the actual dependent. So if you have a wife or a spouse, that's one of the criteria, but it's also listed. This is a piece here that you also can use, especially if you have any children or anything like that, or dependent. So it's essentially two sides of that piece. So you can come in with the actual family, wife, husband, and kids, or you can actually be a single parent, full-time with a dependent child. If you're doing that, the easiest way in the housing that they have for you, you can see some of the units here and what the cost is for a 2-bedroom versus a 3-bedroom or so on and so forth. And then it gives you the actual location of these different pieces. So it gives you how much rent is, how many people can fit in the house, floor plans, everything. So if this is something that you want to literally check into, you can do that. If you just go to Google, type in university housing, once you get there, just click on About Us, and then you go to family housing, all that resource. All this information will be found there. So that's a great resource. The other piece of this is if you do have any children and you're worried about childcare, we do have a center on the University of Nebraska-Lincoln's actual page. The rates are actually here. So if you want to click on that, it gives you the rates based off of that. So that's something that you can look into. But it talks about the center. We'll start in 2009 to make sure our students have opportunity. So not only go to class, but also make sure their students are truly taken care of through this piece by providing that education. And this piece for them to actually have a space they can go there in class. Questions so far? This is supposed to be interactive, so if anything pops up that you guys are thinking about, this will be a good time to kind of talk about it. So. The other piece that was mentioned in there is the money management piece, or budgeting. So we have the UNL Money Management Center. It used to be on the second floor here, but I don't know if they moved it or not over to the UNMC building. So this is a place on campus that you can go to that helps you literally with your budgeting. They offer all these things as far as coding sessions on spending plan, financial goals, organization, acceptance and credit. All this right here at the university to make sure that anything that you want to know about not only managing your money, but also setting yourself up for success in the future, we have there as far as you can utilize those resources here at the university. What I'm not sure is if they moved locations, because it used to be up on the second floor here. Yes, they did. So now they're in the health center over, new University of Nebraska Medical Center. So that's closer to Knoll, which is our sweet style housing. So if you want to utilize this resource, this is a great tool to set yourself up for success because they offer these coaching sessions for you to kind of help you with the process. I wanted to leave plenty of time to ask some questions at the end about anything. So this is that time to keep us on schedule too. So is there anything that you thought I would cover that I did not cover that we can still take? And that's for anybody.
With donor, how much did donor cost is not included in tuition?
Great question. So for resident students, tuition and everything like that. So for a traditional student, if you're actually staying in a dorm, housing and meal plan are included, so it's about $11,000 here. So that's if you don't stay on campus. That's literally if you live in a residence hall here with the meal plan, it's about $11,000 cost there. So most transfer students don't end up living in an actual residence hall. They stay off campus to save a little bit more money and it's more effective, which we have dozens and dozens of places that you can stay off campus and save a bunch of money. But if you chose to stay on campus just for the actual field, that's there for you. And we actually have learning communities for transfer students. So that's one thing that I did not touch on. So if you're a transfer student, we have learning communities that are built in for you to make sure you're successful. So in this program, they literally partner you if you decide to live on campus with other. If you decide to live on campus, they partner you with other transfer students, so you go through all that process together. So in this piece, they literally make sure you are getting connected to organizations and things that you want to make sure you feel like a part of the actual community here at the university. So it's a huge benefit, especially if you're an actual transfer student, want to be a part of the community, don't feel like you're out on the island by living off campus. This is one of those huge ways, but also getting connected to some of the organizations that are on campus. One of those being Unite. That's a huge opportunity for you to do. In there, they also offer peer connection. So in their peer connection piece for the transfer students, they partner you with another transfer student who's either a senior or is about to graduate, so that way they can talk to you about their experience of transfer to the university, what were some things that they had to overcome to help you through that process. So it's a huge benefit too, because that piece helps out a lot because they went through the same exact thing that you have. So, great question. Great question. So for those of you who do not know, one of the programs that or student organizations I always like to touch on here is highlighted is Unite. Oh, I forgot to do the page. However, Unite is pretty much, as I mentioned before, the advisor for that is actually Morgan Padilla. He does a fantastic job leading that organization. And I believe the actual president was actually standing outside of this room like 10 seconds ago, so I don't know what she disappeared to, but she will be back at some point. But then she'll talk to you about that opportunity and how to get connected and what they're doing here. And they typically host honoring their graduates powwow in the spring. They do that every single year, which is truly amazing. Along with partnering with some of the powwows, such as like the Winnbago powwow, they do, and they go out there and support that effort too. Because a lot of the students here at the university are from that community. So, what questions do you have for me?
If I go to Greece for 2 years, do I qualify for state?
You went to school at Little Police for 2 years? Yeah, so if you graduate and come, or not even graduate, if you take classes at Little Police and then transfer, you do qualify for that in-state fees, which is going to be that scholarship that you send that board there. So we look at where you graduate from. Then there's also a piece of that, and I'm glad you mentioned that. So even if you're from out of state, you still qualify for in-state tuition because we honor different tribes. So if you are affiliated with any one of the tribes that are listed on this actual website, you still qualify for state tuition. So any of these So it's about 24 tribes listed here, and if you are part of any one of those, if you're from out of state, we still give you a state tuition no matter what. Great question. Great question.
This Ponca tribe scholarship, that's open for any tribal members too, just not Ponca?
I'm not 100% sure of all the actual final details on that piece because we don't house that out of admissions. It's listed on our actual guide. I don't oversee that piece. I oversee like the native and the transfer one here. So I don't know the criteria on that one per se. But I know that is an option for students to apply to. So maybe do you guys have more clarifying details on the Ponca scholarship at all?
I think it's specific
Okay.
to that. I know that when I was in school, I applied to my tribe and they had their own funding that I could apply towards. So you may want to check with your own tribe. They may have some funds. It might be small, right? But still, it's something that helps quite a bit.
Great question. Yeah. To keep you on schedule, if there's no more questions, or are there any questions you just don't want to ask? It's okay to ask. There's no right or wrong answer, no wrong question, no horrible question, anything. Yes.
Do people that come in on a transfer scholarship, they qualify for like work study or other programs like that?
Yep, in most cases they do, especially if you fill out your FAFSA, which is your pre-application for federal student aid. Once you fill that out, that pretty much lets us know what we can actually offer you. In some cases, we can offer you full work study and everything like that. If not, we can also offset that with even if you only qualify for a certain percentage. Yes.
Can you give some information about the Pell Grant?
Yes.
And who qualifies? You know, what's the maximum monies that you can make, and what do you get for that?
Yep. So once you fill out the actual pre-application for federal student aid, also known as your FAFSA, they pretty much give you an EFC, so that's your expected family contribution. If that is 0, then you qualify for Pell Grants. What Pell Grants are is free money that you do not have to pay back from the actual state, and the max amount right now is $6,500 that you actually can receive. So that is money that you do not have to pay back, given to you by the actual state. And also lumped into that can also be work study as well. Again, work study is you actually having a job on campus where we're paying you to either study or do some type of work and actually get a paycheck for that piece. So, does that make sense?
So that would be on top of the tuition, in-state tuition, right? The waiver. So if you had a Pell Grant and the in-state transfer, you'd be, I'm not gonna say you'd be set, you'd be pretty close to being set.
Yeah, you'll be good because the Pell Grant then would pretty much be a refund check and then you can use towards housing and stuff like that. Yeah. So I think the best way for us to illustrate this, and it does not use the tribal scholarship, but we do have it on our diversity page, is here. This is talking about Colorado, Nebraska, fill out your piece. But essentially, if we cover, so take out Buffett, put the tribal scholarship there, then you put federal grants work study, that's essentially your work study and stuff like that. And then if you put in like your FAFSA information, essentially we'll be giving you a refund check that comes to the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. So that can go towards covering your housing stuff. Again, the information that's listed here, this is for a first-year student. We don't have it for a transfer, but I wish we did. Now that I'm thinking about it, we probably should take that information. But I don't oversee the transfer piece, that's Jared, but I will talk to him about getting that up there. Because if you come in with that, especially that tribal scholarship, where we're covering all tuition, you qualify for the Pell Grant and work study, you'll be getting a refund check to help cover that housing, and pretty much you'll be set in the easiest way to put it.
Pay to go to school.
Yeah, plus assistance from your tribe.
Yes, I didn't add in that part.
Yeah.
Has anyone actually looked into what their tribe can offer them to study at a university? That's a question. I know the Santee will pay for housing and stuff like that, because they've told me that. So it's worth looking into.
Absolutely.
And I'd have to ask the Omaha higher ed what they would all cover.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure almost every tribe tries to contribute to their members. I'm almost 100% sure about that.
you mentioned, look into all those opportunities. Like I said, if you have these white cards, please fill them out. This allows me to make sure I follow with you, make sure we're intentional about what we do moving forward here. I wanted to give them a little bit of space to stay on track, because I know after coming back from lunch, you're tired too, but that is something I also realize. So with that being said, if you need anything else from me, please reach out. I will actually collect those info cards from you, and then I'll reach out to you about our next step moving forward. Okay? Thank you.